Before we go, we want to get you a little perspective on some international news that is happening right now with ongoing conflict in Iran. You heard it a little bit earlier when we heard from the White House about some of their ongoing negotiations and communications they've been having. So we're going to welcome back to Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus Professor Navin Bapat. He's the department chair and professor of political science at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Professor, thanks for making time for us.
Thank you.
So we understand that the White House has had at least one phone call with senior officials there in Iran, both sides saying that they're ready to deploy military activity if needed, but there seems to be some negotiation going on. Can you give us some perspective on what the relationship is between the two governments?
So the two governments have had hostility since 1979 with the Iranian Revolution. Since that point, Iran has tried to establish itself as a regional leader to oppose the presence of the United States and Israel as well, and has supported several different groups throughout the region that have been hostile to the United States. There's been some times where it's gone through a little bit less hostility to the United States, but during the Iraq War, Iran actively supported organizations like the Quds Force that attacked American forces and killed several of them. So at that point, there's been hostility as well. And then in 2015, the United States signed the JCPOA, which was the Iran nuclear deal that limited Iran's development of nuclear weapons and allowed for some monitoring. President Trump in his first term withdrew from that agreement. And since then, there's been a period of hostility. And obviously, in the last several months, the president authorized an attack in coordination with Israel to attack several of the key nuclear reactors in Iran. And the mission does look like it was successful. So basically, Iran has returned to significant sanctions when facing the Trump administration that the United States has imposed, and has had what appears to be its nuclear program significantly harmed by the United States. So the relationship is not a good one at the particular moment, but it does look like Iran, given the chaos that it's facing, is trying to head off a potential attack by the United States by offering to return to some form of the nuclear deal, which is the JCPOA in 2015.
As we understand it, there's an internet and communications blackout right now for much, if not all, of the people of Iran. U.S.-based rights groups are reporting that 500 protesters have been killed and another 10,000 have been arrested as those protesters entered their third week of protesting. What is the message that those protesters are trying to get out?
So I think the protesters, it seems like probably the different numbers of protesters have different reasons for doing what they're doing, but it seems to be coalescing on a lot of the economic problems that Iran has had over the last several months and years, which is a significant drop in the value of the rial, which is our currency, and significant inflation. But it really does speak to, I think, collectively what the protesters are talking about is that this is a reflection of the regime, and this is a reflection that the regime led by the Ayatollah and the current government in Iran has failed to really protect the people and has failed to try to build an economy for the people. So I think this is a general protest against their rule stemming from the economic problems that they've had, which are considerable.
I've got about a minute left here before we let you go. In your experience studying the region, what do you think we can expect to see next this week or beyond?
I think what you're seeing in Iran, interestingly, is a common response of autocracies to protests. What remains to be seen is how much it spirals. The closing of the internet is usually a sign of weakness. I would say not a sign of strength. It means that they have to try to stem off the rebellion. So it really does depend how quickly this escalates. And the president has said that he is ready to intervene. I would think the United States would be hesitant to intervene in Iran, but given U.S. behavior over the last several months, it seems like the United States is willing to use force more frequently. So I think there's a lot of flux in Iran. It remains to be seen what ultimately emerges. But if Iran does go through any sort of regime transition, that has considerable implications for its neighbors, for Iraq, to some extent Afghanistan, given that it might spill over, but more for Saudi Arabia and some of the other emirates that are in the Gulf area.
Professor Bapat, we appreciate your expertise and time once again with us here on Live Impact News. Thank you so much.
Thank you.